Emerald Forest was alive with the sounds of nature. The forest was a symphony of life, with every creature playing its part in the grand orchestra. Birds chirped in the trees, their melodies creating a harmonious backdrop. Squirrels chattered as they gathered nuts, their tiny paws working diligently to store food for the coming seasons. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves, whispering secrets of the forest to those who would listen. In this beautiful forest lived a clever fox named Finley. He was a creature of grace and intelligence, navigating the forest with ease. He was known for his quick wit and even quicker paws, always staying one step ahead of any danger. Finley was a proud fox, his sleek fur glistening in the dappled sunlight. He believed he could outsmart anyone. He loved challenges, relishing the thrill of outwitting his opponents. He was always ready to test his skills, whether it was hunting for food or evading predators. One sunny afternoon, Finley's keen sense of smell picked up something delightful. The scent was unlike anything he had encountered before.
What's that smell? Finley wondered, his curiosity piqued.
It was the sweet aroma of ripe grapes. Finley followed the scent, his nose leading him through the dense underbrush. He came to a clearing, the sunlight filtering through the trees and illuminating the scene before him. There, in front of him, was the most magnificent sight he had ever seen. A vine laden with juicy purple grapes hung high on a sturdy wooden post, the fruit glistening in the sunlight. Finley's mouth began to water, the desire for the sweet grapes growing stronger with each passing moment. He had to have those grapes. With determination in his eyes, Finley prepared to make his move. The grapes glistened in the sunlight. They seemed to call out to Finley.
Come on, Finley, taste our sweetness.
Finley couldn't resist. He stood on his hind legs and stretched his neck. He tried to reach the grapes, but they were too high.
Just a little higher. Almost there.
Finley jumped and jumped, but he couldn't reach the grapes. He tried to climb the wooden post, but it was too smooth. Finley grew tired. He had never failed at anything before. Finley sat down, defeated. His pride was hurt. He couldn't accept that he couldn't get the grapes. He looked up at them again.
Those grapes are probably sour anyway. I bet they are not even ripe yet.
Finley convinced himself that he didn't want the grapes. They were probably not worth the effort. He turned his back on the grapes and started to walk away. He pretended he wasn't disappointed, but deep down he felt a pang of sadness.
As Finley walked away, he heard a voice. It was faint at first, almost like a whisper carried by the wind.
Well, 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 what do we have here? A fox with a heavy heart, perhaps?
The voice came from a wise old owl perched on a branch above. His feathers were a mix of greys and browns, blending perfectly with the bark of the tree. The owl had seen everything. From his high vantage point, he had witnessed Finley's every move. He knew Finley was just pretending not to be disappointed. The owl's eyes, deep and knowing, seemed to pierce through Finley's facade.
It seems you have found those grapes to be a bit out of reach, the owl hooted softly. His voice was gentle, yet it carried a weight of wisdom.
Finley stopped. The words echoed in his mind, making him pause. He felt a little ashamed. His ears drooped and he couldn't meet the owl's gaze. He knew the owl was right. Deep down, he had been avoiding the truth.
It's not that I can't reach them, Finley retorted, trying to save face. His voice was defensive, masking his true feelings. It's just that I don't think they're worth the effort. He turned away, hoping to end the conversation.
The owl chuckled. It was a soft, knowing laugh that seemed to resonate with the forest around him.
Is that so? Or is it that you are afraid to admit defeat? The owl's eyes twinkled with a hint of mischief.
The owl's words struck a chord with Finley. He had never thought of it that way. The realization was like a weight lifting off his shoulders. Was he really giving up just because he was afraid to fail? The question lingered in the air, making Finley ponder his actions and choices. Finley looked back at the grapes. The owl was right. He couldn't give up so easily. He had to at least try. He couldn't let fear stop him. Finley took a deep breath. He decided to face the challenge head on.
I will get those grapes even if it's the last thing I do, Finley declared with newfound determination.
The owl smiled. He knew Finley had learned a valuable lesson that day. Finley looked around, his eyes scanning the dense forest. He needed a new plan, something clever and resourceful. He saw a pile of rocks nearby, scattered haphazardly across the forest floor. An idea sparked in his clever mind. A solution that could work. He could use the rocks to build a stepladder. It was a brilliant idea. Finley started moving the rocks one by one with determination. He stacked them one on top of the other. It was hard work, requiring patience and strength, but Finley didn't give up. He was determined to reach his goal. Finally, after much effort, the stepladder was ready. Finley carefully climbed the rocky steps, his heart pounding with anticipation. He reached the top. He was eye level with the juicy grapes glistening in the sunlight. He plucked a grape from the vine, feeling a sense of triumph. He took a big bite, savoring the sweet, delicious taste. The grape was sweet and delicious. Finley had done it. He had succeeded. He had overcome the challenge, proving his resourcefulness and determination. He had achieved his goal, and it felt incredibly rewarding. Finley learned a valuable lesson that day, one that he would carry with him always. Sometimes the things we desire most in life are not easy to obtain. They require effort and creativity, but with perseverance and a willingness to learn from our mistakes, we can overcome any obstacle. We can achieve anything we set our minds to, just like Finley did.